A security service officer died under mysterious circumstances. There were hundreds of people nearby, yet no one saw a thing. Don't miss out. The psychics will uncover the mystery. You're watching Psychic Investigations, a channel of astonishing and exclusively true stories. Here, people who call themselves clairvoyants use their abilities to investigate extraordinary paranormal phenomena and high-profile criminal cases. Lilia Vakulchuk lives in a small village in Ukraine. She turned to the psychics because, 32 years ago, she was separated from her brother Yuri, whom she searched for her entire life, but only found his grave.
It's such a shame that it all ended so tragically.
To uncover the circumstances of her brother's death, Lilia reached out to Roman Latynin, a priest of the Anubis cult.
I can say with certainty this was murder. I see how he grew up. But why don't I see you nearby? Aren't you his sister? I see you were separated as children.
Our mother died giving birth to Yuri.
Yuri was the fifth child in the family. The mother had 4 children from her first marriage. Her husband died in a car accident, and she remarried and then became pregnant with Yuri. The birth took place in February. Due to snowdrifts and poor roads, the ambulance couldn't reach the village in time, so she gave birth at home.
At 5 a.m., the ambulance arrived and took her to the hospital. She died there, but the baby survived.
And I never saw him again.
From the moment he was born, Yuri was an orphan. His biological father refused to raise him after his wife's death.
We grew up in an orphanage. We always remembered we had a brother. I heard when he was 8. Military parents adopted him and then left Ukraine. We weren't allowed to search for him, as the details were classified.
When we grew up, of course, we searched for him.
Years of searching yielded nothing. Then the family even turned to the TV program Wait for Me. There, they learned that Yuri had lived his entire life in a small nearby town.
We're so close and just missed him by a little.
3 days. We missed seeing him alive by just 3 days.
A cruel twist of fate. Yuri's siblings found him 3 days after his death, after living just a few dozen kilometers apart their entire lives.
He says he fell. He was standing and then he fell face first. A man struck him from behind. Not with a fist, but with an object. Blood came quickly.
Yuri Novitsky was 32. He lived in Kiev, graduated from university, got married, and stayed in the capital. He worked in the communications department of the security service of Ukraine. He returned to his hometown for a class reunion. Around 2 a.m., he was found unconscious near the local disco. He died en route to the hospital. His family still struggles to cope with the loss.
I don't want to talk about anything, that's it. He was our only son, our only hope.
Yuri's adoptive parents are now in their 70s. They chose to adopt after losing hope of having a child of their own.
And now, in our old age, we're alone.
He was in a great mood. People were dancing and celebrating. There was some kind of scuffle. He was standing in the dark, and suddenly everything went black.
Yuri Novitsky died from asphyxiation caused by blood entering his airways due to severe craniofacial trauma.
The injuries were horrific. There wasn't a single untouched spot on him.
Blood was coming from his nose or mouth. His face was so battered it looked gray, like asphalt. I couldn't even recognize him.
The reunion began at a cafe. Around midnight, the classmates decided to continue the evening at a disco.
They arrived in 2 or 3 cars.
How many people were there?
About 6 or 7.
Around 1 a.m., classmates noticed Yuri was missing. An hour later, he was found beaten and unconscious just a few dozen meters from the disco.
He appeared to me dressed in a kind of military uniform.
Yuri Novitsky held the rank of senior lieutenant. He was days away from a promotion for his dedicated service.
We buried him on Monday, and the next day he was supposed to be promoted to captain.
I see a man in a cell. He's locked up. He has your brother's blood on his hands.
The murder of the security officer was solved 3 years after the tragedy. The accused was 25-year-old local resident Ihor Bihatsky.
Ihor's family insists he is innocent of the officer's death.
The psychics are my last hope. I'm hopeful they'll help me finally find the answer, and my son will be freed as someone wrongly convicted.
According to the case file, that night an argument broke out between the men, during which Ihor beat Yuri so severely that he died. The court sentenced Ihor to 8 years in prison.
I see your brother's blood on him.
Ihor Bihatsky's family hopes clairvoyant Ilmira Derbentseva can help unravel this tangled case.
Someone else did it, but the police never even tried to find them.
He didn't do this. He's not connected to the murder.
I visited the victim's grave. A man is already serving time for this crime. And I see blood on him.
I also saw the conflict between them. But the man in prison is not the killer.
The next morning, the psychics meet with the convict's wife.
My granddaughter is growing up without her father. She misses him.
He wrote, "I can't take it here. I miss all of you. You know I didn't kill him."
He didn't even know Novitsky.
Yuri was about my build. Maybe a bit shorter. And Bihatsky is much smaller and thinner. Yuri could have flicked him on the forehead. And that would have been it.
Vita, the convict's wife, meets the psychics near the entrance to the local park. Yuri's body was found nearby. The victim's sister, Lilia, joins them.
"Hello, Ilmira. I've been waiting for you. I really hoped you could help me."
I brought a colleague with me. Do you mind if he helps?
"No, I don't."
I'd like to walk around and examine the area. This is where Yuri died.
They found him here, already dead.
Here they caught up with him.
Who chased Yuri that day and ultimately took his life? Was it connected to his professional work, or did the attackers have other motive?
There was some kind of scuffle here. Were you celebrating something?
A birthday.
But something else happened before that. You had a beautiful wedding dress. So there was a wedding too?
We got married in early June. This happened at the end of the month.
How horrifying. The couple had been happy for just 3 weeks before the nightmare began.
Do you have a photo of your husband?
I have one. With our child.
Please let me see it.
I see a vehicle. What was his job?
He was a driver.
By training, Ihor is a lawyer. But in a small town, it's hard to find work in his field. So, like his father, he worked as an ambulance driver.
He makes toys for his daughter, doesn't he?
For her birthday, he gave her 7 little dwarfs.
Ihor's daughter, Darina, celebrated her 3rd birthday without her father. He was already behind bars, but he managed to send her a gift from prison, 7 dwarfs, hand-sculpted from bread and painted with care.
Little Darina talks about her daddy all the time. Let's go see Dad. I love Dad. It's always about Dad.
Did you drag him there? He didn't want to go.
He didn't. Maybe he had a bad feeling.
Vita was celebrating her 20th birthday at home. That evening, she planned to meet a friend and asked her husband to join her at the cafe's summer terrace. On such a day, he couldn't say no.
I'll tell you one thing. He's in prison now because of his temper.
He's a bit hot-headed.
I keep seeing an object, but after the blow, he was just gone.
Yuri was struck on the head with a blunt object, but the detectives couldn't determine what it was. No weapon was found at the scene.
Wait a second. A round piece of glass. Something round made of glass. Lying in the grass.
Could it be glasses?
Maybe glasses.
They said they found spectacles, but no one knew whose. Yuri didn't wear glasses, and neither did my husband.
Possible the glasses were dropped during the fight by someone who attacked Yuri, but investigators ignored this clue.
I see an image. Yuri is lighter-skinned and your husband is darker. And between them is a woman with long black hair. Something happened.
I sense a fight.
It happened because of you, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
The conflict didn't start here.
It began at the disco, right?
We need to walk further. I want to go inside. Can I?
This is the disco where Yuri Novitsky came with his former classmates that fateful night, and where Ihor Behotsky's wife was celebrating her birthday.
It was after midnight. I don't remember who Novitsky came in with.
Did you notice him?
Yes, not local, big guy.
I sense a minor scuffle here. Someone approached, and I see there was someone else near you.
There were girls.
Vita was dancing. Her husband stood nearby, watching her.
They were there as a group. Yuri came from over there.
Yes, he came from that side. He wanted to pass through.
He walked with his hands in his pockets. The youth were dancing, and he moved through them like an icebreaker.
Looks like he bumped into Vita.
He passed through, brushed against her friend, and Vita was right there. He pushed her hard, but it was completely accidental.
We were dancing in a circle. Yuri tried to pass between us and maybe he didn't mean to hit me, but it happened.
He was a big man. He didn't mean to. He just accidentally shoved you.
I feel your husband jumped in to protect you. He was defending his wife. She was pregnant.
Vita was 5 months pregnant. No wonder her husband reacted so strongly to a stranger's behavior.
He said, "Let's go talk." Walked out calmly, but Yuri was ahead.
Yes, he was.
I saw them as they exited. Novitsky walked out the same way, holding his hands in his pockets and pacing slowly. I noticed he went first.
Did you notice any injuries on him?
No.
No blood?
No blood, nothing. Come, I'll show you. They turned this way.
Where did they go?
Here. Around the corner. That way.
They went that way?
Yes. I stayed here.
I don't think we'll figure it out here. We need to go outside.
I didn't see them leave.
Vita stayed inside. When her husband didn't return, she went looking for him.
Right. Where Ilmira is standing, your husband stood. Yuri was here. I understand why Ihor's hands were bloody. He struck Yuri, and the blood came.
There was blood on his clothes, small splatters.
Those blood droplets on Ihor's clothing became the main evidence of his guilt.
According to forensic analysis, Yuri was struck in the head with a blunt object. But when the men left the disco, no one saw anything in their hands. Nothing was found at the scene. And when Ihor returned, he had nothing with him.
Your husband says Yuri apologized to you.
I came out. They saw me, and Yuri asked for forgiveness.
He said, "I'm sorry," and walked away.
You and your husband walked back together, I think.
And Yuri went that way, where we came from.
Tell me, was it long between when they left together and when Ihor returned?
5 minutes. Vyhotsky was wearing a white t-shirt and light white jeans. When he came back, there was a drop of blood on his forehead. I noticed it.
And didn't Novitsky return?
Novitsky never came back.
When Yuri Novitsky was found unconscious on the road, he was lying in a pool of blood. If Ihor had struck him in the head, there would have been far more biological traces on him.
People saw them part ways, right?
There were people around. They saw everything.
He apologized and walked away. He looked normal and wasn't stumbling.
That same night, Ihor was arrested as the prime suspect in Yuri's murder.
After the fight, they didn't meet again. He didn't leave your side, did he?
Friends and acquaintances saw us return together. We were always side by side. He never left me.
Ihor came with us to the disco. He never left us or stepped out.
I want to retrace Yuri's steps. People were standing there right where he passed.
After the psychic sensed there were witnesses to Yuri leaving the disco, we began searching and found them.
2 girls were standing here. The women's restroom is here and the men's is over there. They were smoking, then hid a bit further away.
How old were the girls?
About 21 and 17, when that man got beaten.
Yuri walked alone. But someone was behind him. A man.
I see teenage boys and a grown man. Is the man dark?
Yes.
About the same height as Yuri.
Wait. I'm getting something. He fell backward but was found face up. Someone turned him over.
A man turned him over.
The man who found Yuri was his childhood friend. He and his wife were driving home from the same disco when they saw someone lying on the path.
I told my wife, looks like someone finally went too far. Someone's been killed. He was lying there and I checked for a pulse. I couldn't lift him into the car alone, not with just my wife.
He called an ambulance. It arrived within minutes, but Yuri couldn't be saved.
There was another young guy, quick and agile. It felt like he was rifling through pockets.
There was one, maybe 2 teenagers.
They took something from him, his phone.
It's unbelievable. Could a strong security service officer have been beaten to death by 2 teenagers for a robbery?
Were there bushes growing around here?
Yes, along the roadside.
Something happened there. They were whispering. I feel like those boys saw everything that happened here.
When the man was found dead, his mobile phone was missing. It was later discovered with local teenagers who had been nearby during the fight. After the attackers left, the teens stole the phone from the unconscious man's pocket.
When that man got beaten, I was walking here with a friend. We stood a bit further, watching.
Were there bushes, grass? What was here?
Bushes. Right here. That's where we stood. We saw a big guy, maybe 110 kilos. They hit him and he fell.
Where did he fall?
A bit further down.
A bit further, yes?
Yes, just over there. That's where he fell.
They testified in court, but no one took their words seriously. Because they're kids, people think they might lie or make things up.
They caught up to him. One blow from behind with a bottle. But that wasn't all. Once he was down, knowing he couldn't fight back, they kicked him.
There was even a footprint on his body.
They hit him with a bottle. He fell and didn't speak, and they kept kicking him. After that, one of them said, "That's it. We let him bleed. Let's go."
I see 2 people here. Roman. 2 men who followed Yuri and attacked him.
One had dark hair. He was tall and built similarly to the victim.
He was bearded or simply unshaven. Sharp nose, deep-set eyes, low brow ridges. He wore jeans and a black shirt, and his eyes were light, maybe gray. Not dark, not brown.
No, not brown.
The second one had a rounder face,
Chubby-faced?
short haircut.
Hair brushed forward?
Yes, light brown. Tight-fitting t-shirt with some kind of design.
On the shirt.
And jeans, I think.
Fair-colored.
He was around 24 to 27.
Who are those guys?
They're all from the gang hood.
What hood?
It's a neighborhood full of local thugs.
Really?
Mostly guys like that, always looking to fight.
So they're gangsters?
Something like that.
Criminals?
Yes. They came to the trial. I was scared because they're locals. I couldn't say it was them. I was afraid they'd kill me too.
This wasn't premeditated. It was a split-second decision. A flash of aggression.
That dark-haired man, he was very drunk.
A fatal chain of random events. There were witnesses, but no one speaks.
No one mentions the fight that happened later, after the scuffle with my husband. Everyone only talks about the fight with my husband. That's it. We'll lay claim to the police. We want this case reviewed again. We want the real culprits found and punished, not the innocent.
A young man has been accused of murdering his elderly grandfather. Who is truly responsible for the horrifying act? Don't miss out. The psychics will reveal the awful truth. Christmas Eve, in a small Ukrainian town, all the locals gathered with their families, singing carols and enjoying kutia. But the next morning, the town was shocked by terrible news.
The gruesome murder of a 74-year-old local resident, pensioner Stanislav Kucheryavi, was committed in this house. The man sustained 48 stab wounds. His body and face bore numerous injuries. His rib cage and hyoid bone were fractured, and his nose and lip were shattered.
But who would want to harm a mere elderly man? Who could dare to brutally murder someone on Christmas Eve? Panic and fear gripped the town.
It was terrifying. I couldn't sleep properly for many nights after that.
Stanislav spent his entire life in this town, where he worked as a driver. He had 2 daughters, Zoya and Olha. His wife passed away from a stroke, so for the last 5 years, the man lived alone in this modest house.
Zoya called me and said, "Olha, our father is gone." I can't even describe how I felt. It was as if someone had killed me.
Olha rushed to her father's place, where she found police detectives.
The forensic examination revealed that the man died from traumatic shock and pain.
What Olha saw when she mustered the courage to enter the house is something she still can't bear to recall without tears.
There was blood all over the walls and ceiling.
After the tragedy, Olha suffered a nervous breakdown. She barely speaks now. The news of this cruel murder spread quickly through the town. No one could understand who and why would harm the old man.
We tried to determine if he owed anyone money, or if someone wanted to steal his belongings. None of these theories held up, though.
Nothing was stolen from Stanislav's house. As such, the motive for the murder wasn't robbery. The elderly man had no enemies either. Therefore, the motive for the crime remained unclear.
But Olha was in for another blow. Her son, Serhiy, the victim's grandson, was detained on suspicion of the murder. The police took the man directly from his home.
27-year-old Serhiy Bilodub was detained as a suspect in the murder of his grandfather. According to the investigation, he killed his grandfather due to personal animosity. The grandfather allegedly used to lecture his grandson, which he didn't like, until he eventually snapped.
However, Olha doesn't believe the police. She insists her son couldn't have committed the murder. The young man worked as a construction worker in Kiev and came home on weekends to help his family with chores. He often visited his grandfather and sometimes stayed the night.
Serhiy virtually lived here and was friends with everyone.
The grandfather and grandson understood each other like no one else. Serhiy called him my captain. The grandfather was an ex-serviceman and always gave his grandson wise life advice.
He says, "Mum, I couldn't have done it to Grandpa. This is impossible.
Serhiy has been behind bars for a long time now. Olha says her son is in despair. Every week he writes her letters, repeating, "I didn't kill him."
Serhiy Bilodub was sentenced to 15 years in prison. The accusation was based on the fact that the young man confessed to murdering his grandfather.
It wasn't him.
Olha claims her son was forced to confess. She argues that a 70-kilogram young man couldn't physically overpower his grandfather.
The victim weighed around 100 kilograms and, according to his relatives, was in good physical shape for his age.
Dad used to repeat, Olha, I'm a paratrooper, nobody can beat me.
But who took the pensioner's life? This question haunts Olha. Every day, as she walks down the street, she looks into the eyes of every passerby, searching for the true murderer. To find out what really happened to her father on Christmas Eve, she turned to Kayal Alekperov for help. The psychic received Olha's letter while in Azerbaijan, visiting his family.
Unfortunately, I have urgent matters to attend to at home and must be with my family. I will try to investigate this matter remotely. I will ask my colleagues to meet with Olha.
Psychics Jana Shulakova and Larisa Mohila, accompanied by her female tarantula, 13, will take on the investigation to help Kayal.
When I tune into the photo, I see a knife swing and an endless number of strikes. There's a mark, a seal on the murderer. It's either a letter or a symbol. Could it be the murderer's name?
For some reason, I see a woman. She stands silently, with her hands covered in blood. And before her lies the body of a dead man. I don't understand the meaning of this vision. Who is the woman? Could she be the one who killed the old man?
Hello.
Please come in. My son is accused of murdering his own grandfather.
Is this your brother?
Yes, my elder brother.
No matter how hard I try to tune into the murderer's energy, I feel like I'm stepping into a world of illusions. I see distorted mirrors changing the images. It's strange. Like some force is distorting my visions, mixing them up, trying to prevent us from tracking down the killers.
Something's interfering. When I try to tune into the killer, some spirit blocks my way. I keep seeing an aggressive man coming towards me, as if he's trying to stop me from seeing clearly.
There's a strange entity near Jana and Larisa. It's like a knight in iron armor. He holds a massive sword covered in blood. He's here to kill. Oh God, he might harm my colleagues.
Who murdered Grandpa? Can you answer it, please?
I feel the energy of a woman all the time.
I don't know. I see the murderer with a...
Oh Lord, what happened?
Jana, over here.
What?
The vase, it was here, right on this spot. And my photo was here.
This is something mystical. There wasn't anybody in the kitchen, but it looks like someone smashed the vase.
The vase with Olha's photo specifically broke.
This knight in armor is trying to break into the real world. I will now say a prayer so that this knight cannot break into our world.
Who is this knight? And how is he connected to the murder of Olha's father?
The entity bore male energy. I realized that when it noticed I could see it, it got mad.
A man, but I see a woman. A woman is definitely involved in the murder.
I'm ready to bet it's a man. I see a male spirit.
To figure out what really happened, the psychics decide to visit the crime scene. The house where Olha's father lived is now empty. The relatives only come by to clean up, while the locals avoid the place altogether.
I think we should enter.
The house looks eerie from the inside. It's hard to imagine what kind of things happened here.
I can't see anything even here. I just have a red haze before my eye.
It's hard to describe it. When we arrived, the entire house was drenched in blood.
It feels like my colleagues stepped into a beast's lair.
You know, the interesting thing is, before all this happened, it was a peaceful home.
Absolutely. Grandpa was always cheerful.
Serhiy often came here.
Because he felt comfortable here. Interestingly, I can almost see people peering through the windows. They're young.
They're of Serhiy's age, his friends, his company.
It turns out that when Serhiy visited his grandfather, his friends often came too. Could one of them have murdered the elderly man?
Could you please give me more details?
Just a moment. They're looking to see if anyone's home, and maybe they want to take something from this house, steal something.
But nothing was taken from the house. Is it possible that the young men got scared and ran away after the murder?
Your grandfather was open-hearted. Here, have some potatoes, some money, something for you, pal.
Serhiy's friends who visited the victim became too impudent. Stanislav was kind, feeding the fellows and even giving them money. He was such a generous soul. And I saw a vision of them coming to his house again simply to take more money or eat.
They didn't kill him because they're just, you know, they came and left.
We learned from the neighbors that a lot of people constantly came to the victim's house. So, the police questioned everyone who had access to Stanislav's home. None of them were in the house or nearby that night.
It's strange, you know. I don't sense a murder at all.
I can't make out the murderer's image. I still sense a male phantom. Male hands.
No matter what you say, but I saw a female phantom. She carries a burden of guilt.
13 is showing me some movements, pulling me outside.
As soon as we were about to go outside, it was like someone slammed the door shut in front of us. Someone didn't want us to continue the investigation. It felt like someone was trying to trap us. It was that same entity that raged in the apartment and smashed the vase. I was tuning into the energy of the woman I sensed in Stanislav's man's house. Could she be the killer? Why is she all blue? Like she was strangled.
Who are you talking about?
Larissa that way. There she is, look. She's sitting under the willow crying.
She's holding her neck, trying to say something but can't.
Whose yard is it?
A young woman was killed here. She was strangled. Her name was Nastya. She was found strangled with tights.
The young woman dated a gypsy man. He killed her out of jealousy. He strangled his fiancée with tights.
Why is she crying?
And why is she showing a mirror?
I see a reflection in it.
It's the image of the man beating her.
The locals told us that this is where Nastya lived with her fiancé. and she suffered from his heavy hand almost daily. He beat her mercilessly.
The spirit of the deceased girl showed me a vision of her looking into a mirror, but in the reflection, I saw Olha. Someone's beating her too.
Vasya.
Vasya is Olha's ex-husband. He's the one who left her with 2 little sons. This is the most painful topic for Olha. Over the years she lived with the father of her sons. She endured so much suffering that not everyone could withstand it.
You forgave him.
Olha endured, believing she had to go through everything for the sake of her children, as they needed a father.
I see children's eyes witnessing this. Serhiy witnessed his father beating you all the time. Is it true?
Yes. I asked him not to do it in front of the boy, but he didn't care.
While Sasha was still little, just a toddler who didn't understand what was happening between his mother and father, Serhiy already grasped everything and somehow took on his father's aggression and his mother's fear. It's terrifying.
I smell alcohol. A glass was often in the man's hands, and it eventually killed him.
Cirrhosis.
She whispers, "Revenge, a sign of revenge," and she points her finger at Olha.
This is incredible, but it seems Olha doesn't understand why the suspicions always fall on her.
I think we should check the cemetery.
When we arrived at the cemetery, 13 went crazy. She jumped off my hand and refused to come back. If only I had understood then what she meant and what she felt, I would have never gone there.
Here's Grandpa.
We need to contact his spirit.
His spirit is not at peace. This only happens in a few cases. Either the murderer is not found, or the spirit has an unfinished mission in this world.
But what does all this mean? Is the man's murderer still walking the streets of the town? And is Serhiy, this woman's son, serving an unjust sentence? But who is the beast who ruined 2 lives at once?
Hush, hush. Come sit down. Oh my goodness.
You're involved.
But why?
Why? What? Quiet, quiet. Have some water. Feeling better now?
Wait.
Was it normal?
It's the spirit.
Is he aggressive?
He possessed me and said she was involved.
Mom didn't do anything.
I never murdered anyone.
It seems neither Sasha nor Olha herself understands what the clairvoyant is talking about. Could the daughter be involved in her father's death?
I tried to contact Stanislav's spirit so he could finally tell us what happened. But he only wept and said, "Olha didn't kill me. No, my mother is not the murderer." It seems Grandpa is angry and accusing her of something else, but not the murder.
The entity that tried to chase us out of the apartment when the vase broke, the one that possessed me, appeared as a man. And I realized it was Olha's deceased husband, and for some reason, he was in a knight's armor, with a bloody sword in his hand. He's showing me visions of someone doing something and not being properly punished for it. And you seem to approve of it. He's showing me some grass, a bunch of it in his hand, and says you knew about it. You knew, but did nothing.
Could that grass be hemp?
The grandfather's spirit came to me. He wants to talk, and he says that Serhiy used some kind of drug, and his mind was often clouded. But what's most terrifying, Olha did nothing to stop her son from using it.
You did nothing to stop him from smoking.
This is horrible. The boy got into trouble because of his stupidity, and his grandpa had an argument. The old man reproached him about the weed, explaining how bad it was. He was teaching Serhiy.
It turns out Serhiy and his grandfather did argue about marijuana and alcohol. So, could one of their conflicts have led to the fatal outcome? And did Serhiy really kill his grandfather?
If they had kept an eye on him in time, there would have been no weed or arguments with the grandfather. I see another argument.
A celebration, a drinking party, Christmas. The grandfather went to bed, and the grandson walked around until morning. Then the grandpa woke up, saw the state his grandson was in, and started shouting. Serhiy promised his grandfather he wouldn't drink or smoke weed. But on that Christmas Eve, he came to visit his grandfather and broke that promise. Of course, the grandfather got angry, and then something terrible started happening, something I'm afraid to even mention.
The grandfather's spirit says that Serhiy became the knight in armor who tried to break into our world today. The knight was his father, a cruel man who abused Olha. After his death, his spirit didn't calm down and tried to harm his wife again. And he succeeded. On that Christmas Eve, when Serhiy was no longer controlling his mind, the knight with the sword possessed him.
It's as clear as noonday that Serhiy is guilty. You see how much filth he witnessed in his life? Let's start from his childhood. The beating by the father.
Yes.
The man beat you, right?
Right.
He saw it and it influenced his psyche. Then came the company, the weed.
Yes.
Alcohol, quarrels, fights.
I always told them to go away. Always.
I saw a vision. It was the murderer's hand with some kind of mark. A letter C. It was the hand of Serhiy, Olha's son. He had a similar tattoo.
Sergei tattooed the first letter of his grandfather's nickname, Captain. But his passion for drugs and alcohol led him to kill the man he loved so much.
I am to blame here.
Be strong.
Thank you.
It's a horrifying example of what alcohol and drug abuse can lead to. A brutal execution. Who inflicted 41 stab wounds on a poor woman? Don't miss out. The victim's ghost will reveal the shocking truth to the psychics. Antonina Nizhnik lost her entire family one by one. Her 16-year-old son died in a horrific accident. Her beloved husband suffered a fatal heart attack, and 5 years ago, her only daughter was brutally murdered.
This is the house where the body of 24-year-old Olha was discovered with multiple stab wounds.
41 wounds. Who would do such a thing?
Olha was only 24. She was a bookkeeper and lived in this house. A wedding gift from her parents. She had married 3 years before her death, but after a year and a half, she divorced her husband. Her mother says they had irreconcilable differences. Her friends and family still can't come to terms with the fact that she's gone.
Allah was so kind, but we lost her. Why would anyone kill her?
Olha Nizhnik's death brought devastation to another family, the Ossetskis. The mother is a primary school teacher, and the father is a tractor driver. Their lives turned upside down after their son, Sasha, was accused of murder. He is Olha's ex-husband.
29-year-old Sasha Ossetsky was charged with murdering Olha, allegedly to claim jointly acquired property. The house where they lived was owned equally by Olha and Sasha. After their divorce, they reportedly agreed that Olha would live there and that Sasha had no claim to it.
Sasha was a carpenter. He worked 2 jobs, crafting doors during the day and as a stoker at night. On the night of his ex-wife's murder, he had a shift. His colleague replaced him at 8 a.m.
According to the official police version, Sasha Ossetsky left his post at around 11 p.m. and walked to Olha's, where he had a heated argument with her. During the quarrel, Sasha allegedly stabbed her 41 times.
Sasha was sentenced to 13 years in a maximum security prison. His parents insist it was a mistake. The man's family, friends, and colleagues describe him as a kind and calm person and don't believe he could commit a crime, especially so brutal.
My son was convicted for nothing.
He couldn't have done this. He never even started a fight or hit anybody.
What really happened? There were no witnesses to the murder. Olha's mother and investigators are convinced Sasha murdered her and have no other suspects.
He did it. Nobody else could have done it.
The village has divided into two hostile camps. Some insist Sasha is the murderer, while others believe he couldn't have done it. To uncover the truth, clairvoyant Yaroslava Fedorova and hereditary shaman Marina Homushku take on the case.
Looking at Olha's photo, I see the image of a butterfly flying toward the light. It doesn't realize it's heading into flames and may burn its wings.
I just had a vision. A woman enters a house. She's extremely agitated. She grabs this young woman by the hair and they start fighting. Then I saw a hand rise above the body. One stab, then another. Could the murderer be a woman? I don't understand yet.
The psychics arrive in the village where the victim lived. Neither family could agree on who should meet with the psychics, as they refused to be in the same area together. So they entrusted this mission to a mutual friend of Olha and Sasha, Volodymyr.
I don't believe Sasha killed Olha. I just want to know who did it.
Hello.
Hello?
This is where it happened, right?
Yes, in this house.
May we go inside?
Yes, please.
Let's go.
I see her lie, right here. Her head was this way. She was lying on her back.
Yes, this is exactly where Olha's body was discovered.
The knife was about this wide. An old household tool.
The murder weapon was never found. The experts determined that the killing could have been committed with an ordinary kitchen knife, but whether the killer brought it or found it in the house remains unknown.
I saw the first blood out in the yard. She was walking from the gate toward the house. The first stab happened right around here. She turned around, and the stabbing continued.
Bloodstains in the yard indicate that the victim was outside before ending up in the house. And most of the stab wounds were inflicted at the entrance. It's also possible that the victim tried to escape toward the gate, but the attacker caught up with her, delivered more stabs, and then dragged her, likely lifeless, body inside, and shut the door.
Could Sasha have done this, given that he was significantly smaller than his ex-wife?
He wouldn't have overpowered her. He couldn't have done it.
Yaroslava, I see bards. Someone's in jail for the murder.
Sasha was found guilty of murdering Olha. He was taken into custody.
I have a vision of her husband, her ex-husband, and her arguing violently in the house.
She feels lonely. They had frequent scandals.
Everyone who knew the couple says their marriage was full of arguments. Sasha worked long hours, while Olha was still studying. She needed her husband's attention, but didn't receive it. This caused tension. Eventually, unable to take it anymore, Sasha left.
At the time of Olha's murder, she had been divorced from Sasha for more than a year and a half. They lived separately and barely saw each other. Sasha lived with his new girlfriend.
The woman's name is Marina. She is 25 years old. She met Sasha a year after his divorce at a cafe. Within a few months, they started living together.
I lived with him for 3 months. He never hurt me. When I was in the hospital, he visited me every day and called to ask how I was doing.
Who is the older woman who is absolutely convinced that this man is the murderer?
Olha's mother.
Will you show us where Olha's mother lives?
Antonina Nishnik lives 12 kilometers away from her daughter's home. She is hoping her daughter's killer will finally be punished.
The defense can't agree with this verdict. It will be appealed.
Even after 6 trials, he still isn't in prison. I have no peace. Please come in, take a seat.
I again sensed an argument. The victim seemed to quarrel with a man. But who was it? I see him in a cramped room, working with fire, and there's lots of dust.
He worked at the fuel depot.
On January 5th, Sasha started his shift. Aside from him, no one else was in the boiler room.
Sasha is accused of leaving the premises at 10:30 p.m. and heading to his ex-wife's home.
This is horrifying, but why would Sasha do this after a year and a half after the divorce?
I see your daughter, already murdered. A man's hand takes 3 thin gold rings and earrings from her body. But I only see the hands, not the person who did it.
Olha's gold necklace, cross pendant, earrings, and 4 rings disappeared. According to the police's official version, Sasha removed her jewelry after killing her. After murdering his ex-wife, Sasha returned to work and burned his upper clothing, supposedly covered in blood, in the furnace. He also tossed the stolen gold inside. But why kill someone, steal their jewelry, and then destroy it?
What if the murderer wanted to stage a robbery?
I see him sitting at a table. Your former son-in-law. He's surrounded by people in uniforms. They are handing him papers, telling him to sign them.
On January 7th, Sasha personally wrote a confession admitting to murdering Olha. On January 9th, he wrote a second confession detailing the circumstances of the crime. He described the furniture in Olha's home, the place where she stood when he attacked her, and where he left her body.
He signs them. He's trembling, disoriented. He doesn't fully understand what he's writing. Then, I heard a woman crying. An older woman. And I realized it was Sasha's mother. Maybe we should go there next.
I don't want to go there.
Olha's mother is convinced that her former son-in-law is the killer, and that his parents raised a murderer.
Well, then we'll go.
By the time the psychics arrive at the home of the suspect's parents, it's already dark.
Good evening. Please, come in.
For 5 years now, these people have lived with the stigma of being the parents of a murderer. They are desperate.
Could you hold the cards in your hands?
Do you have any of his belongings? Here are his letters from jail.
Letters from their son are their only source of joy. He reassures his parents and, most importantly, insists every time he didn't do it. But is this true?
Who did he call that evening? I see a rather long, positive conversation.
He was talking to Marina from 11 p.m. to midnight.
Indeed, the night Olha was murdered, Sasha spoke on his mobile phone with his girlfriend, Marina. Their conversation lasted about half an hour without interruptions. Marina claims that his voice was calm and sober and they discussed everyday matters.
I was in Kiev at the time. Sasha called around 11, I think. He was at work. I could hear him tossing coal into the furnace. The scoop scraped against the bucket.
I really want the truth of who did it to come out.
We need to communicate with Olha. I need to visit the cemetery.
The psychics head to the cemetery. The victim's mother refuses to go.
As soon as we approached Olha's grave, I saw her standing there in a white dress. She was crying. A man indeed visited her. He brought her something sweet.
Chocolates.
Chocolates. It was a date.
During the inspection of Olha's home, flowers and a chocolate bar were found in the kitchen, along with a mostly emptied bottle of wine. In her bedroom, the investigators discovered a used condom and the victim's lingerie. The bed hadn't been made.
I saw a woman enter Olha's house, only to find romance. A date underway. Olha was sitting with a man. The woman didn't like what she saw. She was furious. She grabbed Olha and dragged her outside. The man stayed inside, while the two women went out. They screamed at each other.
Who is the clairvoyant talking about?
According to the locals, there's indeed a woman in the village who had conflicts with Olha. They fought over a man. However, nobody knows whether she was at Olha's home on the night of the murder, but soon after she left the village.
Sasha's friends and family insist that after the divorce, he never saw his ex-wife again. He had no one else besides Marina. So who visited Olha on the night of the murder?
She went back inside, frustrated that her date had been ruined, and started arguing with the man. She was in love with him. She started kicking him out, hurling insults at him. He went away, but she ran after him. He was drunk and angry. She enraged him so much that he grabbed a knife.
This scenario is quite possible. Olha might have caught up to the man at the gate, where they got into another argument. There, the first stab wound was inflicted, as evidenced by small blood droplets near the entrance. She then tried to flee back inside the house, but the attacker struck her again at the doorway. The majority of the wounds were inflicted inside. The murderer then removed her jewelry, found the house keys, locked the door, and left.
At that moment, I saw a butterfly. Olha sought salvation from her loneliness. She saw light and flew toward it, thinking it was love. But she never realized she was flying straight into death.
But all the facts seemingly point to Sasha as the murderer. Could the police be holding the wrong person? To uncover the truth, the psychics decided to return to the Ossetski's home.
His workplace. On that night, he ran out of the building abruptly. And he returned just as quickly.
He walked to the far end of the premises to fetch coal.
So he needed to ignite the fire, quickly grab the coal, and then return immediately.
Yes, he added coal.
It was found that the furnace at the fuel depot where the convict worked required coal to be added every 40 minutes. If it went out, it had to be completely cleared of ash and reignited, which would take over an hour.
Could Sasha have returned after committing the murder, reignited the furnace, and then thrown in his clothes and Olha's stolen jewelry?
The melting point of gold is 1,064 degrees Celsius, while the furnace Sasha worked with reached approximately 600 degrees. Gold jewelry wouldn't have melted in that furnace.
The ashes were sifted immediately. There was no trace of burned clothing or jewelry.
During an inspection of Sasha's workplace, the police detectives were unable to find any remains of burned coal, which should have been removed from the furnace on January 5th or 6th for its restart. Therefore, Sasha likely never left his post for more than 40 minutes.
Could he have committed the murder within those 40 minutes?
It was winter, January 5th, nighttime. The temperature was minus 28 degrees, and the roads were heavily covered in snow.
The distance between Olha's home and Sasha's workplace is 1.6 kilometers. Under snowy winter conditions, it would take about 30 minutes to cover.
To prevent the furnace from extinguishing, coal had to be added every 40 minutes. Since there were no traces of a restart, could Sasha have never left? Then why did he confess to the murder?
I see someone yelling at him constantly. He's scared.
They beat him severely.
Our detective found a witness to Sasha's brutal assault by the police investigators.
I was detained for 10 days. While I was in there, I saw them beating the man. He even took off his shirt to show his back, which was blue with bruises. Then they called me over. I came in, and they ordered me to take a bucket, mop, and water. There was a pool of blood there. But what could I do?
Strangely, there was no official documentation of any injuries on the suspect. It's unbelievable. The man was tortured into confessing to murdering his ex-wife.
I see no traces of blood on Sasha. Even if he had washed up, there would still be some residual blood.
His shoes and clothes are clean.
As it turned out, the investigators seized and examined the boots Sasha was wearing on the night of January 5th to 6th. They found no traces of the victim's blood or any other evidence linking him to the crime. According to the forensic medical reports, blood found under the victim's nails wasn't hers. Moreover, they weren't Sasha's either.
All the facts indicate that Sasha Osetsky was not involved in the crime.
First, they collect fragments of information and then try to piece something together and reach a logical conclusion. But in this case, everything happened differently. Nothing adds up.
I have never encountered a case like this before. You read the indictment, and nothing matches the case evidence.
My son didn't do this.
Sasha's parents have found their answer. But how did the real murderer get away with what he'd done?
What else could they do? The man was already behind bars. They all had received their promotions and awards for solving the high-profile murder case. Who would want to lose that?
Meanwhile, it turns out that nearly every second person in the village knows who the real killer is.
Lately, people have been saying she was seeing someone and they were lovers.
And what happened to him?
They say there was a freight train standing on the tracks. He tried to cross, but the train started moving and his legs were cut off. They say that in the ambulance he shouted, "This is my punishment for Olha, for killing her."
My son is not a murderer. I am deeply grateful to the psychics.
A resonant case. A young woman and her 5-year-old son's throats were slit in their own apartment in broad daylight. Don't miss out. The psychics will track down the ruthless murderer. Ukraine. A city was shaken by horrific news. A 29-year-old woman and her young son were found murdered in their own apartment. Both had their throats slit.
On the 4th floor of this building, Zoya Maligina and her 5-year-old son, Misha, were brutally murdered.
The police arrived less than half an hour after the bodies were found.
The streets were cordoned off with tape.
They searched every blade of grass, every flower. Nothing was overlooked.
The locals were stunned. Who could have committed such a cruel act, and why?
This was a shock for everyone. They were tortured so viciously.
Alina Voznuk is Zoya's best friend and colleague. The two women had been close for 4 years, visiting each other's homes and going to the movies and parks together. But now, Alina can only visit Zoya at the cemetery.
Zoya and Misha rest together in the same grave.
Everyone is shocked. A young woman and a little boy. Why were they killed?
I couldn't believe it. It's horrifying.
People panicked. Some feared a serial killer, while others suspected a cult murder.
Zoya was a hairdresser at a local beauty salon.
This where she worked. All our clients loved her, not just as a stylist, but as a person.
She was kind. She never had conflicts with anyone.
I will always remember her as a bright soul, kind and compassionate. People like her are rare.
But who could have committed this horrific crime? Who would want to harm an ordinary woman and her little son?
After examining the crime scene, the police found no fingerprints or murder weapon. Studying the shape and depth of the wounds on the bodies, the experts concluded that a standard kitchen knife was used. But they couldn't determine where it came from.
But the most terrifying part is that it was done in broad daylight. The official police report states that the murders occurred between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. Yet neighbors never heard anything strange, and no one saw anything suspicious.
I was home that day, but I heard nothing.
The worst part is that no one knows anything.
Alina still hasn't come to terms with her friend's tragic death, and Zoya's family remains devastated. They long to understand what happened to the young woman and her 5-year-old son, but their religious beliefs prevent them from seeking help from psychics.
I have no idea how her mother copes. Losing both her daughter and grandson at the same time and then burying them together.
Alina's heart breaks knowing the murderers are still free. So she decided to write a letter to the people with extraordinary abilities.
I want them to find the person who did this. I want justice.
Psychic Jana Shulakova begins working with a photograph of Zoya and her son.
About a month before Zoya's death, a shadow from her past entered her life. It terrified her, constantly reminding her of its presence. And in the end, it wrapped around her neck and strangled her.
Joining Jana Shulakova in this brutal murder investigation is clairvoyant Olga Kalinova.
When I look at this photo, I immediately see the image of a woman filled with rage, overflowing with aggression. Oh God, she killed children. She might be connected to these deaths.
The meeting with the psychics was set in the place Zoya often visited with her son, the city's Central Park, where they strolled every weekend.
Hello, my name is Alina.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for responding.
We will do everything we can to help.
I need to tune in to work.
If possible, may I connect with your friend through you?
Oh my God. She lies like a broken bird. Her eyes are open and her body is twisted.
She's lying on the bed with her child. Her hands are tied.
Her mouth is gagged. Before her very eyes, her son's throat is being slit.
God, what a monster did this.
The bodies of Zoya and her son Misha were found on the couch in the bedroom. Zoya lay on her back, her hands tied behind her, her right leg bent, her eyes wide open. On the edge of the couch lay her son.
That day, nothing foreshadowed tragedy. She was home with her little boy.
Zoya had a day off. She was at home with her son.
Zoya planned to spend the day in the park, where the psychics are now. But fate had other plans. By the next day, she was buried.
There were 2 coffins at the funeral. It was a terrible funeral.
She loved him so much. She lived for him. He was polite and well-mannered.
Zoya's personal life hadn't worked out. She divorced her husband 4 years before the tragedy. Her son was her entire world.
I see a woman walking near the bodies of the mother and son.
Wait, she's a relative. Oh, God. Could a family member have killed her?
Jana, it's her mother.
It turned out that Zoya's mother was the one who found the bodies in their apartment. All 3 lived there together. The police investigators immediately began looking into her whereabouts and activities before discovering the bodies.
Wait, that morning she left for work.
She was among many people asking them for something.
Zoya's mother is a bus conductor. On the day of her daughter's murder, she had been on her shift from early morning until noon and returned home around 4 p.m.
She entered the apartment, walked into the room, and saw the 2 lifeless bodies.
She was in total shock.
What a tragedy! It's impossible to imagine what the woman went through.
We must go to the crime scene and see it.
Zoya's mother now lives alone in the apartment where the tragedy occurred. The psychics and Alina arrive there. But Zoya's mother does not know they are coming, so she may not be home.
Here we are. This is where Zoya lived. Her apartment was on the 4th floor.
Shall we try to enter it?
She's probably not home.
I had a vision again. I saw the shadow that followed Zoya. I couldn't tell if it was a person or just a dark presence, but it was here, right before her death. It's unbearable to stand here. I feel like I'm about to be sick. I felt everything she suffered. The horror and the torture that young woman endured before her death. I need to sit down.
Are you feeling better?
Not at all. There's a smell of blood. I don't see splatters, but I feel like the blood seeped slowly and deeply into everything.
The human throat contains major arteries, and even a slight cut can cause blood to spray violently. Strangely, in Zoya's apartment, where she and her son were murdered, there was no blood on the walls or the furniture. Instead, the blankets and mattress were soaked with it.
Something is off. The day was chosen deliberately.
Was this a ritual?
But what does this all mean? Could Zoya and her son have been victims of a ritual murder?
I keep seeing her working with her hands, embroidering something, stitching angels.
Yes, she embroidered beaded paintings and icons.
Like her entire family, Zoya was deeply religious. She attended church every Sunday and confessed regularly.
She went to church often. She said it gave her peace of mind.
Ritual murders are often planned carefully. Victims are chosen with precision. They must be pure, kind, and honorable. Devout Zoya and her innocent son were perfect targets.
But I see no pentagrams or ritual objects.
Police investigators considered the theory that the crime might have been religiously motivated.
There were no signs of ritual murder.
Then I realized we needed to search for Zoya's killer among her acquaintances. Among the men who loved her.
I now see Zoya fighting with someone and arguing intensely. Then she kicks him out. I think it's her ex-husband.
They divorced long ago.
Zoya's ex-husband's name is Denise. They met 8 years before the tragedy, got married, and a year later, their son, Misha, was born. However, the marriage only lasted about a year. Zoya initiated the divorce. So, could her ex-husband be the murderer?
I don't see him at the crime scene. He has his own family now.
After the divorce, Denise met another woman. They married and have a daughter.
He was in a place filled with bricks, a construction site.
That's his job.
Zoya's ex-husband works as a construction foreman. On the day of Zoya and their son Misha's murder, he was at work.
So it turns out that Zoya's ex-husband is not involved in the crime. But who killed this young woman and her innocent son, and why?
Since Zoya was a hairdresser, it's likely that the killer had been one of her clients. Let's check the salon.
This was her workstation.
Something's behind that wall. Let's go. It's a man. I fear him. He's demanding something from me. I've seen him before. He could hurt me. Physically. They're old acquaintances.
I see Zoya arguing with him. A heated fight.
Alina suddenly remembered that shortly before Zoya's death, she had seen her friend step outside the salon, talking loudly to a man.
A man came and Zoya confronted him.
But Zoya never told anyone who he was.
In this exact spot, near the beauty salon, Zoya met with a man a week before her murder. This was captured by security cameras outside the salon.
However, in the footage, the man's back was turned, making identification impossible. Zoya's co-workers noticed that in the days leading up to her death, she was deeply upset and often cried.
I asked her, "Zoya, what's wrong?" But she said it was nothing.
That shadow I saw while working with her photograph in her apartment, in her salon, it's the same man. He had been following her, constantly appearing around her. But I still didn't understand what he wanted. I suggest that we go to the cemetery.
News of the psychic's investigation had reached the police. The chief of the local police department, Vasil Patashchuk, arrives to speak to the clairvoyants.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
We would appreciate any help you can offer.
We need time to perform a ritual, to call upon Zoya's spirit.
While the psychics were working, it grew dark. What would they uncover?
Zoya's here. I see the apartment door was open. The murderer entered unobstructed.
Did Zoya leave the door open?
She just didn't think about it. The door wasn't broken down, it was just open.
According to the investigation files, Zoya had been to the dry cleaners to take 2 rugs that she had left there earlier. The distance from her home to the cleaner is about 300 meters. She could have walked it in 5 minutes.
She took the rugs to be cleaned. There's a gas station and a car wash nearby. She returned from there, and the door was open.
After bringing back the first rug, Zoya planned to step out immediately to collect the second.
It feels as though Zoya didn't meet her killer in real life. They met either through phone calls or over the internet. And most importantly, he was behind bars at the time.
We discovered that a year before her death, Zoya had been in contact with an unidentified man over the phone. After Zoya and her son were brutally murdered, her mother remembered this strange acquaintance and reported him to the police. They investigated his identity and found that the man had been incarcerated multiple times for theft and armed robbery.
But how did this man come into Zoya's life?
They met up. Their conversation was heated, but it was still just a conversation. No intention to kill. Double presence. There should have been 2 involved.
Yes, a woman and a man.
They are being pursued legally. They have either been arrested or are under suspicion.
A pre-trial investigation is underway.
I couldn't understand what the man and woman were demanding from Zoya so aggressively. They were threatening her son in front of her.
There was some sort of agreement, but a very sinister one.
It's possible that the man had given Zoya a part of the money he'd stolen, perhaps to start her own business. We learned that shortly before her death, she had bought new tools for her salon. However, for unknown reasons, she never opened the business. After being released from prison, her creditor returned, demanding repayment.
The woman who accompanied the killer was angry and aggressive. He brought her along intentionally to pressure Zoya.
Most likely, when they entered Zoya's home, they didn't plan to kill her. They probably just wanted to threaten her. But when Zoya said she would call the police, warning them that she could put them back behind bars, this might have triggered the murders.
I see Zoya being thrown onto the bed, her hands tied, her mouth gagged. The female attacker walks into the kitchen and grabs knives. Then she runs toward the boy and throws him onto the bed.
The boy's pants were torn, indicating that he had been dragged by the legs. Most likely, this happened while the murderers were pulling him, and he was fighting back.
The woman ran a knife across the boy's throat. How awful. The child's death was the last thing his mother witnessed. Then the man grabbed a knife and slit her throat.
Zoya died from multiple small surgical cuts. That is, the man knew exactly what he was doing.
It was indeed done professionally. There were no blood splatters on the walls or furniture. The blood was absorbed entirely into the pillow and mattress.
The investigation is ongoing, so the police can't disclose the details. But Vasil Tashchuk hinted he had a strong suspicion about whom the perpetrators might be, as some of the suspects fit the psychic's descriptions.
His grandfather was Tatar. His father was Uzbek. His mother was Ukrainian. And he lived in this city.
The man had previously worked at a slaughterhouse, so he knew exactly how to slit a throat without spraying blood. That explains why there was no blood on the walls, furniture, or ceiling. It had all soaked into the mattress. The woman also had legal troubles, and she had likely met her accomplice shortly after his last release from prison, about 2 months before the murder.
Yes, she has been detained by the police before, and there was an ongoing investigation against her. She had also previously been prosecuted for theft.
Now I understand the vision I had when I first received Zoya's photo. The woman who had killed many children was the killer of the boy. I sensed that she hated children. She had previously undergone dozens of abortions, which too is a form of murder.
Investigators found that the woman had undergone more than 10 abortions, ultimately leaving her permanently infertile.
This is unbelievable. But if this is true, then how was Zoya connected to those people? How did she meet her killers?
It began as a search for love, but soon that search for love became a search for death.
She communicated with the man but didn't know that he had been behind bars at the time. He dragged her into something dark, but she realized the danger too late.
I'd like to thank you. We will work on this information immediately.
Thank you too.
This has been so painful. It was so hard to process. But after hearing what the psychics revealed, I truly feel better, knowing that those people will finally be punished.
As we found, the investigators verified all the information provided by the psychics. The criminals turned out to be a man and a woman with a history of legal trouble. And the most horrifying truth is that Zoya had previously been in a relationship with the man who later took her and her son's lives.